So I've been using these three tools for quite a while now, and they actually help me with videos just like this one because I actually get a lot of inspiration from books and other content that I read, and these three tools really allow me to remember all of these things I read and to then really nicely actually plan out these videos and any other projects that I work on. Okay, so let's start off with the Kindle here. You might be thinking, hey Sophie, why do I need a Kindle in 2020? Well, hear me out. So you might be thinking that an alternative is the iPad, for example, or just the good old actual paper books. Well, a Kindle has quite a few benefits when it comes to the actual reading process. First of all, it's distraction-free reading, and this is especially an advantage when compared to something like an iPad, where you have a ton of other apps that you could be tempted to use in any second. And I know that you can block all of those things, but that's just one more piece of friction that will make it so much less enjoyable to use and therefore make it much less likely that you'll actually be reading. The Kindle actually has a insanely good battery life when compared to other tablets, for example, like the iPad-like surfaces. I charge my Kindle probably once every month maximum. So it really lasts a very, very long time. And then another benefit when compared to other tablets is just that the screen is so much better for long time use and also for reading, especially on the Kindle Paperlike. And if you do get a Kindle, which I highly recommend you to do get the Paperlike because it is just so much better and you will notice a difference if you're reading at night, for example, like I love to do right before going to bed. It's just so much nicer on a Kindle compared to any other tablet. And so you might be thinking, okay, well, I see why it's better than other tablets right now, but what about paper books? Well, on a Kindle, it's just that much lighter to hold, and also that much slimmer to actually carry around with you, so you can really take it anywhere you go. I literally take mine anywhere I go whenever I go somewhere for a trip, for example. A Kindle is one of the things that will be in my bag. And then also you can actually still highlight and take notes on a Kindle, which is kind of the core of what links all of these three tools together and what will allow you to really remember the things that you read. Okay, so I just said that the notes and highlights that you take on your Kindle are kind of the backbone of how all of these three tools will help you remember what you read. And that's because what happens after that is all of those notes will be exported into Readwise, which is what I'll get into now. So unlike with the Kindle, you probably have not heard of Readwise yet. Readwise is basically a Chrome extension that you can add to your browser. Basically what Readwise allows you to do is it allows you to synchronize all of these notes and highlights from, for example, iBooks, from a Kindle, from Instapaper, from Pocket. What this allows you to do, as it is a Chrome extension, is it allows you to basically have a digitalized version of all of the notes and highlights that you take on your Kindle. So they're not just on your Kindle where you actually know you'll never look at them again, but they're also on your laptop and go with you wherever your laptop goes. And one really cool feature of Readwise actually that I also use is that they send you a daily email including one random highlight from any book that you've ever read, just to kind of refresh your brain on things that you found really interesting in the past. Okay, so right now we actually read a book on Kindle, or we're in the process of reading a book on the Kindle. We took some highlights, we took some notes, and we used Readwise to get those onto our laptops in a digital version. So this is where Notion comes in, because Notion just makes it so much easier to actually work with those highlights and notes. Because once again, you know you'll never actually be looking at them when they're just in Readwise, because I mean you don't really use Readwise that often. But Notion has become such a mainstream tool nowadays that a lot of people just use that for projects like I do for all of these videos, and also a ton of university stuff. So yeah, let's jump into how Notion and Readwise and the Kindle all work together. So for those few of you out there that don't know what Notion is, it's basically an online tool or a software application that allows you to create a workspace however you want by just adding a whole bunch of different components onto a blank canvas essentially. As you can see here, what's really cool about Notion is that I can actually see a library of all of the books that I've read on my Kindle ever essentially, and then if I hit one of these books, you can see all of those highlights and notes that I took, And then if I, for example, go into my YouTube projects, I can really easily refer back to those books just within Notion itself. Really, the process of highlighting and taking notes on the Kindle is already going to increase the chances that you retain what you just read, because you're going through that conscious process of highlighting. And then getting that email every single day is just going to reinforce that as well, so you'll be even more likely to remember what you read. And then actually having all of those notes and highlights in Notion, which you probably use every single day, or I would highly recommend that you use for project planning or for university as well. You can really easily access them there and have them right then and there ready to go when you're actually working on something or studying for university, for example. So yeah, as I said, there's a ton of other videos about Notion out there, but in case you didn't know what Notion was and you're curious to know more about how I use it, let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd like to see. As always, all the links to these tools and also the Kindle are going to be in the description down below. If you like this video, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Share it with anyone that has been complaining about not really remembering what they read, or that you think should actually read more. I'm sure there's someone out there. Also subscribe if you're not subscribed already and you enjoyed what you just saw. And yeah, as always, take care and I'll see you soon.